Hello guys, and welcome to Step Your Game Up, your #1 place to get incredible storylines and creative ideas to help the WWE Creative Department better the program for us all to enjoy. I'm John, and I'm very thankful to be with you all today. Before we begin with today's video, I'd like to thank every one of you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel because we've got some incredible content coming your way very soon. As for most of you who've been wondering what we've been up to lately, here's an update for you that's gonna shock you. We've been working on a few big partnerships with some networks to expand our reach. It's time that we get more eyes on our content. So you may be shocked in the next few months if you look at our subscriber numbers begin to skyrocket and we show up on your television screen. We're about to do some really cool things this coming year of 2026. Our Karrion Kross and Scarlett video is going to debut this week, so please get ready for that one. We're extremely excited about that due to all the work that went in that one. A new video taking a look at WWE Chief Content Creative Head Triple H. This one's going to be another really good one for you guys to see coming in December. And last, we have a very special prize for all of you on both December 25th on Christmas morning and New Year's Eve at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be giving you 2 special shows as a gift to all of you that are subscribed to us here at S.Y.G.U. So you guys have a lot of cool things coming your way here with us at S.Y.G.U, and you won't want to miss it. Now, let's get into today's episode here. So you guys have a lot of cool things coming your way here with us at S.Y.G.U, and you won't want to miss it. Now, let's get into today's episode here. First and foremost, we have to say that we've been watching the WWE product, and we're always watching in the shadows. We see everything, and I mean everything. But the difference between our show and many other content creators out there is we don't comment on every single thing that happens in WWE. We're not here to talk trash about WWE. We're here to help the creative department of the brand. We desire to build a trust and a healthy business relationship with the WWE Creative Department. And all of you who understand WWE and how it truly works when it's working very well at its best. I say this because a few fans were messaging us complaining about why we're not addressing all of the latest news and hot gossip in WWE. They wanted us to speak on several things happening. We hear all of you who ask these questions, and this is why we've decided to make the business decisions that's currently in process as I speak to open up the conversation a little bit more. However, our character will remain the same, and that is be a helping hand to make the product better in this creative process. Understand, guys, every one of you have your own opinions and are entitled to them. We get it. But don't forget, if you can't produce a solution to the problems, you really need to keep your insults to injury to yourself. Seriously. WWE is not paying us to say this. We're saying that because this needs to be said. And for some time now, actually. Now, me personally, I would have probably told all of you saying those things to shut the Well, let's just say S.Y.G.U is a lot better than me and cares about you guys a lot and wants you to have the best show possible. I would have totally cussed all of you saying these things out in a freaking heartbeat and not give a damn afterwards. But anyways, some of you hearing this will not like it, but deal with it. I think this is fitting to say right now due to his retirement on the rise. Words of John Cena early in his career. If you're not a part of the solution, then you're a part of the problem. That's an FU, or for you younger kids, and for the sake of me wanting to keep my job here at S.Y.G.U, an attitude adjustment. What we're seeing in WWE is a pattern of fast storylines. So let me make it clear to all of you watching and the WWE Creative, if what we present today is just too long of a storyline for you to use, then enjoy what you hear and see, and WWE Creative, take and use what you can. I don't think, based off of your calendar schedule, WWE, we don't think you'll have the time to do this the way we suggest, but we'll try to give you a lot of great material to work with. We're fans of the World Wrestling Federation days, so we appreciate longer storylines that has direction and builds over time to keep the viewers more invested to see what's coming next. We like short storylines sometimes, and you need them too, but if it's really good, then stretch it out and watch the audience eat it up. It has to be really good to work, though. That's what we have today. After watching this past week of SmackDown in Austin, Texas, a week away from WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, which was a good show, we see that you guys need some more help. We're going to give you more today, a lot more. So grab a snack and drink, S.Y.G.U fans and WWE Creative Department. This one's a long ride today. With that foundation laid, we can build on today's video with a clear understanding for some criticism when needed, and most importantly, a solution to some of these problems for the WWE Creative Department. Let's talk about this past weekend with WWE Survivor Series in San Diego.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerers of destruction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. War games! Oh, yeah!
What a show, right? Great job, WWE Creative, for once again delivering on the show with all the pyro that is worthy of one of the core 4 pay-per-views to now ESPN PLEs for the brand that helps shape the company as well as the pillars of WWE calendar year structure to get us to the grand show and the Super Bowl of the company, WrestleMania. We've been very vocal on this in the past, and WWE has delivered once again. Great job, WWE Creative. We watched this event, and it felt like Survivor Series. It was entertaining. There's some things that could have made it even better, but overall, you guys did a great job delivering on this. We enjoyed the event. We look forward to the road to WrestleMania Las Vegas, which we would like to be very instrumental to that process, hopefully. Now, as for the things that could have made Survivor Series even better, we're currently working on a separate video for that. We would like to take a closer and more in-depth look at that event and give some cool ideas that haven't been explored yet that could indeed make it feel different and new, experimenting with some new concepts early next year on that one. Okay, on today's episode, we're talking Chelsea Green once again. Now, WWE Creative Department, you know how Chelsea Green is a favorite of ours because of her development as a person and a performer over the years. We've watched this woman come from it all. WWE Season 6 of Tough Enough, which in my opinion was one of the best WWE shows ever. Chelsea has wrestled all over the world, and she's just now starting to get her flowers in her pro wrestling career. For those of you who are new to Chelsea Green, you need to pay close attention to this episode today. This is going to educate you a little on her career and her talents to give you a better view of the character you see on WWE that she portrays. Now, let's start with the good that we've currently seen as of late. Chelsea Green being used more often. WWE Creative Department, thank you for giving her more time on the screen. She's more active now than before. We've noticed her in more storylines, and this is the exact formula that we wanted when it comes to her not losing interest with the WWE universe. We've seen her on NXT alongside Ethan Page, and this has worked well so far. WWE Creative, you've come up with some clever ideas here. Great job on this, guys. We've seen her wrestle in AAA, a new promotion owned by WWE, that her and Ethan Page are mixed gender tag team champions over there. Then to top it off, WWE Creative gives Chelsea Green back her lost and beloved WWE Women's United States Championship. From the looks of things, it seems like she's doing fine on Cloud 9. Now, this is a very interesting approach to getting her in that place of being very much over with the WWE universe. We see what you're trying to do, WWE Creative Department. We like it. Now let's talk about the problems we've noticed. Piper Niven is out. We've been waiting for this, and it just fell flat on this concept. We suggested for Piper Niven to be a part of this idea, but instead we got this storyline of just her and Alba Fire walking around. We do understand that in the world of WWE and pro wrestling, for that matter, that things can change at the drop of a dime. We know that due to a serious injury, Piper Niven is out indefinitely, and we're so saddened to hear this. And on the behalf of us all here at S.Y.G.U, we would like to keep Piper Niven in our prayers and wish her a speedy recovery. We love you, Piper. So that has made this storyline idea of ours presented previously very complicated to execute. So we've watched every month what you guys been putting together when it comes to the Secret Hervis, trying to do the passing out of the job offers, and we love that. We actually want to see that done more often. I'll get more detailed on that a little later. But we've seen all your efforts to make her look like a true Karen. However, it's just not that funny. It's getting better, but you need some more help. And don't worry, We got you today. Also, another problem we've noticed is Jade Cargill. Now, we've been vocal about Jade here on this show and how talented she is and how well she's developed here in WWE. This is another talent that if she's positioned correctly, she could be a serious babyface or heel in WWE. When you have a special athlete and talent like Jade Cargill, every spot you put her in must build for something great. Think about females like the ninth wonder of the world, Chyna. She was different from all the other women at the time in WWE, and she always played a serious role in whatever she did. You have to not make Jade look like everyone else. Give her a unique rise to this main event position spot as a main eventer who deserves to be there, because the WWE universe either demands her to be there or her ferocious power makes them accept that she belongs there. And who's going to stop the power? I don't feel that from Jade Cargill. She's not badass enough yet. Which brings me to Chelsea Green and Jade. Look, we understand these type of build-ups take time. We get it. But why in the hell do you have all these talented superstars on NXT and no one is really getting called up? SmackDown is starving over here for females that can work, and not just work, but add some value to the show. Now, if there's one thing we understand very crystal, is calling NXT talent up too quickly before they're ready for the main roster. Then there's this new thing we're hearing about WWE NXT talent losing their hunger as they get to the main roster and becoming lazy and not working as hard as they did in NXT. So let's quickly address these two topics I've mentioned. First, calling your talent up from your developmental system and brand too early is like working hard on making the best cake, putting all the hours of making it and inviting a big crowd to eat it and enjoy it. Then putting in the oven to bake, only to pull it out of the oven halfway into the baking time, only to serve it to all your guests partially uncooked, and then wondering why everyone hates your cake. This is not how WWE should do things as the #1 company in the world for professional wrestling and entertainment. So we get this aspect of quality taking time. On the other hand, you can't take too long either. If they're ready, send them over immediately. Stack that roster with young talent that's going to give the shows a new and fresh feel. By doing this, you add to the morale backstage because some of your main eventers need a rest, and you could rest them a little. The part-timers won't be such a pain in the ass to your true WWE fan base because they got new talent to watch and enjoy, and this makes everyone feel a lot better with the product. This is why the WWE draft was so special, but only when it's done correctly and WWE Creative stays committed to the draft choices. I don't know whose idea it was to stop the draft, but I think that was a huge mistake. This is fun for the WWE universe and exciting for the NXT talent that is not bitching and moaning about not being called up to the main roster. This is like Christmas for us all to see who we get on Raw or SmackDown, as well as making people keep their eyes on your NXT development brand for viewership. Why shut down the WWE draft when you now have AAA and you're working close to TNA? That's just low-hanging fruit, guys. Come on. Now to the second part of the talent losing their hunger when they get called up from NXT to the main roster and becoming lazy. When I heard this, to be totally honest, I started laughing. Look, I hope there's no one backstage believing this crap is a real problem, because if so, this shows how this place needs a tyrant to run it, so they stop talking and believing this nonsense. I'm not saying this isn't or hasn't happened in WWE. I'm just saying this is not a big issue that can't be easily fixed. Listen, we don't need a tyrant to run this place to make people love their job. We just need great leadership and clear creative direction with some good old-fashioned brass ring speeches that actually delivers for real. I don't know about you guys, but if I was employed by a company that trained me and equipped me with every tool possible to succeed on their developmental system, and then said to me after proving myself to them in that system, hey, you're being promoted to represent the company on a higher level, then once I've arrived to my new location, I find out that the current owner or owners of the company are disconnected from what the company actually is all about and only want me to become an entertainer more than a professional wrestler and athlete, then I would lose my fire a bit too. I would want to just stay in the developmental brand too. At least my skills are being used correctly there, and I see a real structure of what this business is all about. This is the problem. The problem is the leadership. Once you have better leadership, our creative can finally do its job correctly without limitations. This has become a war within WWE with this new ownership. I'm not going to get into this right now, but look, if it doesn't change for the better, I don't think we're going to keep trying to help WWE any longer. It's only so much we can do from our end, but that's another topic for another time to continue. Back to Jade Cargill and Chelsea. These two feuding makes zero sense for several reasons. Reason one, Jade Cargill will completely destroy Chelsea Green. We all know this. Come on, are you serious? Even Chelsea Green knows this. What are you doing here? Jade should be defending in a rematch against Tiffany Stratton or new opponents to make her reign more dominant. But that goes back to what I just mentioned earlier of not having enough female talent on SmackDown that can work and add to the main card picture. The good old-fashioned Rush the Throne storyline. You know, a new talent thinking they have what it takes to defeat the current champion and do anything necessary to finally get that champion to fight them, but for the title. This could have been the perfect time to play this card for this situation. Jade needs to look like a big problem before she gets humbled. This is not the way to do it. Now, if we were WWE Creative, we wouldn't have Jade as WWE Women's Champion in the first place. She would have been going after the WWE Women's United States Championship. She would have been on this quest to winning that as her first singles championship. This would have made more sense to have her frustration towards Chelsea Green as she's currently holding that title. Then this would put Chelsea Green in a place of wanting to figure out a way to successfully defend against Jade Cargill. Just imagine what that would have looked like if Chelsea actually beat Jade on her WWE Women's United States title defense with some trickery from the Secret Service. Then Jade got pissed off to a level we haven't seen before, causing destruction in the entire women's locker room and roster, looking for Chelsea Green every week, until she finally did find her and made Chelsea regret ever cheating to beat her. Chelsea begs for mercy from Jade and will give her anything she wants, and Jade will then demand for a stipulation on their rematch to eliminate Chelsea's outside interference advantages. This could have even had a spin on it as well if you wanted to bring in more talent to make the match more interesting and help the mid-card on SmackDown get involved to start getting over on the main roster. We doubt very seriously if this does anything for these two with this current feud happening. Now, if Chelsea had a strong army of the Secret Service on her side, then that's another story. That's what we've been trying to get WWE Creative to see. That's the way to go. Chelsea needs her army and to start flexing her power now. This army has to be built and built fast. making her look unstoppable for a short time. Now, let's help you with some solutions. Let's start with Jade Cargill and this whole SmackDown problem. The solution we're going with is Tiffany Stratton returning to reclaim her title from Jade, but Tiffany is not the same. This version of Tiffany is ruthless and more badass. Here's how. She's got a new few moves, maybe a really creative spinning heel kick that looks really cool, and a really cool submission hold. She's dressed different with a new hairstyle and gear, like a kick-ass dark Super Barbie. She takes Jade to the limit right until Jade gets herself disqualified. From there, you should get a lot of back and forth with Jade and Tiffany and make it look really savage of the constant promos and insults of Jade being all muscle and no threat. Tiffany will be put in the position to cut some of her best promos talking about Jade and how she's just another WWE big expensive disappointment and is better off released from the roster, saying to Jade, I don't know why you think you're the best. Jade, you're not the best. You're not the most powerful and dominant woman in WWE. No, I don't hear them chanting that whenever you're out here. But what I do hear them say is 3 things that sums up what we all think of you. That bitch sucks. So why don't you get the hell out of this company and go back to that promotion you came here from? I hear there's a title for you over there with your initials on it. Ooh, that's just savage mic work for Tiffany Stratton. And of course, Jade will respond back in Jade Cargill fashion by blindsiding Tiffany and hitting her with her finisher through a table from the top rope. Then getting the mic while standing over Tiffany and saying, I dropped bitches over there just like I dropped bitches like you over here. It ain't a damn thing to me. This just has viral all over it. This makes for an anticipated rubber match for these two, which will get you to making your choice on if she keeps the title or not to head into WrestleMania season. We know Bianca Belair is on her way back, and WWE Creative, we know you guys might be ready to do the Bianca versus Jade match for WrestleMania. I hope not. It's just too soon for this. And we need to save this one for another WrestleMania main event that will blow the roof off the place once we build Jade up to be an unstoppable force in the WWE. If you guys do this, it's just too rushed and it's not as good as it could be. Think about it. Before we got Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold to put Austin over at WrestleMania 14 in Boston, we needed Shawn to face Razor Ramon in the undisputed Intercontinental Championship ladder match in New York at Madison Square Garden at WrestleMania 10. Remember, if you want a talent to be a major name in this company, you need to have them work for that spot at the top. Do not hand someone a top title just because. It has to always make sense. And Jade needs to lose that title back to Tiffany or someone else soon. Which brings me back home to the main focus of this video. I want to now get back to Chelsea Green. We believe that someone that should take that title away from Jade, if not Tiffany Stratton, should be one of our favorites here at S.Y.G.U. And it's not Chelsea Green. It's Kiana James. We've said this several times, that this is a woman you position to be a quarterback for your team. Kiana James is the perfect WWE female talent to be made WWE Women's Undisputed Champion for several reasons. Reason 1, she's great in the ring, even though she's not 100% wearing a knee brace, and that's saying a lot compared to more talent on the main roster. Number 2, She's a team player. When you look at her attitude to put someone else over and just add value to the show no matter what role she's in, that's the characteristics of a great future champion. She's entertaining when she speaks. For those who don't know about Kiana James, you really need to check out her work on NXT, and you'll see why she's one of our favorites. Third reason, she is, in our humble opinion, the only woman that will shock everyone on winning this title and actually carrying it well as a heel champion. Now, I could give more reasons, but I'm not going to do that. Kiana James is our choice, and WWE, if you listen to us and go this way, you won't be sorry you did. Now, here's how you do this. Let's pull up a storyboard for you to follow. Here we have Jade as WWE Women's Undisputed Champion. And here we have Chelsea Green as WWE Women's United States Champion and her AAA Mixed Tag Championship. And here we have Kiana James, who's currently a manager/sidekick to Julia, who is the recent WWE Women's United States Champion. Now, we've already expressed how we believe Jade Cargill has to lose that title, and soon. Hopefully by the next PLE, and make it a short run on purpose. If Tiffany takes it or not, we'll show you how to move this correctly. What needs to happen first is Chelsea making some very pompous comments on how terrible of a champion Julia was, and how she's the best to ever hold the Women's United States Championship title and her other title. As Kiana James passes her and Alba, Kiana is looking at her titles, and then as Kiana James passes her and Alba, Kiana is looking at her titles, and then Chelsea says to Kiana James as she gets behind Alba for protection, "Ms. Kiosk, person that's always very nicely dressed with cool shoes and nice hair, I want you to take a good look what a real WWE United States champion looks like, and go tell your boss Julia that my title is back home where it belongs. But because I'm such in a good mood tonight, I'll give her a rematch if she agrees to one minor stipulation." Then Kiana James replies to Chelsea as she stares at her while standing very close to Alba, "It's Kiana James." As she does her hand and finger motion like in her entrance, then she says, "It doesn't matter. Whatever stipulation you choose still won't stop my client Julia from taking that title right back off of you pathetic sorry excuse of a champion." Then Chelsea Green says, "Would you like some ketchup on those little hater tots, Miss Kiosk?" As Alba is trying hard not to laugh. Then Chelsea says, "I'm the show, honey. The dream that you pray to be. Okay? Huh?" Kiana just rolls her eyes and walks off. Now, this segment happens backstage, of course, and this gets followed up by Chelsea coming out to the ring with Alba and holding her titles as she gets in the ring and says, "You know, some women think that I'm not supposed to have this WWE Women's United States Championship, and some women say that I'm not worthy to be WWE Women's United States Champion. And some women back there in that locker room are just haters." She continues saying, "Ladies, don't hate. Participate and salute your leader today. The WWE Women's United States and AAA Mixed Tag Team." Then, before she could finish, Julia's music hits. Julia yells in Japanese in the mic to Chelsea and Alba. Then Chelsea says with a smirk, Sorry, I didn't quite get that. Sounds like some hating in Japanese, though. I'll tell you just like I told Miss Kiosk right there backstage. If you want your rematch at my Women's United States Championship, then agree to this one little match stipulation. Then she says, you first have to beat Alba Fire in a no DQ qualification match right here tonight. Julia is talking in Japanese and she's looking like she's ready to fight. Then Chelsea says, I didn't mean you. I want you to face Alba Fire tonight. What do you say, Miss Kiosk? Now Kiana James is pissed off and takes the mic and says, it's Kiana James. I will gladly beat her ass here tonight. Then Nick Aldis comes out and interrupts the conversation. He says, now hold on just a minute, ladies. This is not how we do business here on SmackDown, and Chelsea, you out of all people should know this. If you ladies want to fight, then we can make that happen. Julia then begins yelling in Japanese at Nick and pointing to Kiana James and to Alba and Chelsea. Nick then stops and look at her for a few seconds and say, so you want to accept this stipulation for your rematch clause? Then Julia says yes. Then Nick says, and you're fine with Kiana James facing Alba Fire to qualify your rematch that's already owed to you? Julia again says yes. Nick then looks at Chelsea and Alba and say, then what the hell? It's official. Alba Fire versus Kiana James in a no DQ, and if Kiana James wins, Julia gets her rematch against Chelsea Green. But Chelsea, here's a little stipulation of my own. If Kiana James beats Alba Fire in this match, Julia gets to pick what type of match you defend that WWE Women's United States Championship. Good luck tonight, ladies. Then Chelsea is throwing a tantrum at what Nick just added, as Kiana and Julia are laughing at her and pointing. Then Kiana is looking directly in Alba Fire's direction as she's assuring Julia she's going to beat Alba. When they battle, we get a good match on SmackDown between both Kiana James and Alba Fire, as Julia is ringside in Kiana's corner and Chelsea Green is in Alba's corner. The match then gets a little outside interference from Chelsea to Kiana James. Then Julia retaliates and knocks Chelsea to the floor and picks up the WWE Women's United States Championship as she's holding it up in the air, then throws it back down near Chelsea. Kiana James and Julia are continuing the match until Julia is hit with a dive over the top rope on the floor because Kiana James moved out of the way and Julia accidentally got hit with the diving attack by Alba. Kiana is checking on Julia, then she immediately goes after Alba in a pissed off temper and begins beating the hell out of Alba Fire. Then Kiana is about to put her finisher on Alba, and as she taunts to the crowd before she hits the move on Alba, Chelsea sees what's happening and she's worried and scrambles to interfere fast. As Chelsea Green has the referee's attention in a distraction standing on the ring apron, Julia gets behind Chelsea and pull her, making her fall to the edge of the ring, then preparing to DDT her face first on the floor. The referee is still looking towards both ladies as Kiana James has already hit her finisher on Alba and has had Alba Fire beat for several seconds, covering her with a pin, and has been waiting for the referee to count. Kiana James sits up, wondering what the hell's going on. Then all of a sudden, Mia Yim comes running down from the entrance with a kendo stick and cracks Julia in the back with the stick right before she hits the DDT on Chelsea Green, then plants her with a DDT. After attacking Julia, Mia Yim then creeps around the ring fast, trying to hide for a surprise attack. Kiana is upset and fussing with the referee. Once she's finished arguing with the referee for not counting as she had Alba Fire beat and pinned, Kiana then sees Chelsea standing over Julia as Julia is laying on the floor in pain from the attack from Mia Yim. Kiana is trash-talking Chelsea as Mia Yim slowly creeps in the ring behind Kiana James. Then Chelsea sees Mia and keeps Kiana James distracted long enough for Mia Yim to hit the strike in the back with the kendo stick and then hit Kiana with her finisher. Kiana James is out, and Alba crawls over and throws an arm over James for the win. Chelsea celebrates and gets in the ring to help up Alba. What this does is piss off Kiana James and Julia. Then next week, Julia shows up in Nick Aldis' office with Candice LeRae, and Candice is dressed in business attire. As Julia says to him, "Nick, meet my new business manager." Nick is shocked as Candice is telling him that she's going to be taking care of all of Julia's business affairs from here on. Nick then says, "Wow, Julia, you're full of surprises, aren't you? Just last week you accepted that match stipulation, now this?" He continues and says, "But what about..." Before he could finish his sentence, Kiana walks in his office saying, "Hey, Julia, I've been looking for you. Where have you been? I've been calling you all week, but you haven't returned my calls. Is there a problem?" Julia looks at Kiana and says something sarcastic to her in Japanese, then says, "You lost, loser." Then Kiana James says, "Julia, that wasn't my fault. The referee didn't do her job when I had her pinned." Candice then comes in and says, "You want to know the problem? Look in the mirror, sweetheart. You're the problem. But don't worry, that's about to get fixed in 5, 4, 3, 2. Then Julia yells at Kiana James and says, "You are fired." Then Julia walks out the camera shot angry. Kiana James is shocked as Candice says, "We won't be needing your services any longer." Oh, cute outfit. Then she laughs and walks away. Camera gets a shot of Kiana looking shocked and at Nick, and Nick is like, "Don't look at me." Now, in the backstage hallways, Kiana James is walking around stressed and upset as Chelsea Green and Alba sees her and Mia Yim about to get into a fight, as Mia Yim makes a comment to Kiana James asking her, "How's business these days, girlfriend?" Then she laughs. Kiana gets up quick and lunges towards Mia to fight her, saying, "You ratchet broad." Then they start fighting in the hallway as the security and Nick Aldis yells to separate them. Meanwhile, Chelsea Green walks by with Alba wearing sunglasses as she pulls down her glasses to look at Kiana James and walk away really fast in fear behind Alba. Then Kiana screams in frustration as she tells the security guards to not touch her. Now, by doing this, we have a nice little story brewing. Julia has a new problem with Mia Yim, and she's pissed at Kiana James, so she fired her. Then you have Mia Yim and Kiana James with a beef now because of the attack and the insult afterwards backstage. Then we have Chelsea, who's still WWE Women's United States Champion and gets away untouched. Now, this is what we want to build on to get where we're going. Now comes Saturday's main event is when everything all comes crashing down for Chelsea Green. Prior to that night, she lost her AAA mixed tag title with Ethan Page on an episode of AAA. It was because of interference by a very big female luchador putting Chelsea through a table, then picking her up and rolling her in the ring to get beat. Chelsea then has to defend her United States Championship in a 4-way against Julia, Mia Yim, and new NXT call-up to SmackDown, Wendy Choo. Wendy Choo wins the match and takes Chelsea Green's title due to Zelina's vicious steel chair attack while she made her entrance down the ramp. She really attacked her leg, causing her to not be in the match for half the time. She then came limping back into the ring to save her title, only to watch Wendy Choo get the 3 count over Mia Yim as she slides in the ring too late. Chelsea is asking the referee to restart the match, but the referee is saying no, as he hands the belt to Wendy Choo and raise her hand. Wendy looks at Chelsea with a evil grin and bites the championship leather belt and slides out the ring as Chelsea is reaching for the title in dramatic effect as it goes away with Wendy out the ring as Wendy drags it out with her mouth. Chelsea is throwing a tantrum in the ring and hopping around on one good leg as everyone gets out, and she and the referee are still arguing about the match. She then spits in the face of the referee twice and cussing him out. Then another male referee comes in and she does it to him as well. Then a female referee comes and Chelsea listens and finally leaves once Nick Aldis comes out to get her out of there as she's crying and furious. Then Alba, who was banned from ringside, comes and help her backstage. This gets Chelsea back to square one, and she's hit with fines for her behavior, and comes the turning point. Chelsea is fed up with the officials and the politics of her losing both her titles, angry at everyone, including Jade, who attacked her for no reason, and everyone who wronged her. She now makes an address to the WWE Universe. This is a very presidential-like address. She's not in the ring doing this address, but she's in Canada, downtown Toronto. She's standing at a podium with her seal on it. She's got signs up like a presidential speech. She's got cameras snapping pictures and reporters, as she has a WWE microphone and many other microphones. And she says, "My fellow WWE Universe people, today is a sad day. A sad time has fallen upon us all. This injustice to your leader is absolutely uncalled for and downright despicable. As of today," and she says the date, "I publicly state my actions of defense. I'm now here declaring war on anyone who opposes me. I will not rest until I get back what belongs to me. So as we enter into this new direction, I want to know, my fellow WWE Universe people, are you with me? Dress sharp and do your part and salute your captain to victory." Then she begins the sign-up of joining the Secret Service. On SmackDown and on Raw, she's got a long line of female talent from the Performance Center and WWE Evolve, all lined up with their backs facing the camera, not showing faces, waiting in a long line to come in a room. In front of the door, they're being screened like a TSA screening at the airport to enter the room and have a chance to join her army. Alba Fire and two big female security agents at the door, screening and kicking people out of the line who look like they shouldn't be there. It's funny segments of random people trying to join. Here's some random people to kick out of line. The Honky Tonk Man, Teddy Long, the Godfather, and he takes some girls with him, Miss Jackie and Terry Runnels, Sable for not being dressed in a uniform and carrying a whip, JTG and William Regal, Santino, Vicky, Ellsworth. AJ Styles see this and just laughs. Shawn Michaels sneaking in while talking to some of his NXT talent in the line, and Triple H catches him and asks him, "What are you doing here? And what are you doing in that line?" Then Alba kicks both out the line. JBL and Ron, right before Alba accepts the Blue Meanie, Ron says, "Damn, I'll show you how to set these up." So it's very funny. Just like Blue Meanie, Alba will accept many more male and female talent, past and present, but mostly females. This will be very funny segments for the show and the army building process. So the reason you're seeing all these long lines each week of WWE talent waiting to sign up is because Chelsea Green has been putting out lots of videos on her social media. She says, I want you to sign up and come join the fight of taking back the power in WWE with me. She says, the person who helps me get my title back will win the grand prize of $1 million. Then she describes the type of WWE talent she's looking for. She says, you have to have toughness, integrity, endurance, style, attitude, and like her, never giving up and believing always. And the last quality, always ready to fight. So this attracted several eras in WWE, including the Attitude Era. Here's the list of WWE talent that she accepted in her army. Nikita Lyons, Bailey Humphrey, Mason Holliday and Layla Diggs, Ren Sinclair, Thea Hale, Trill London, Josh Briggs, Cam Hendricks, Harlan Lewis, Jasper Troy, Charlie Dempsey, Dante Chen, Lexis King, Kyle Dixon, Ariana Grace, Hank Walker, and Tank Ledger, Tatum Paxley, Sean Spears, Andre Chase, Brooks Jensen, Carmen Petrovich, Ivory, Mickey James, Victoria, Molly Holly, Lita, Trish Stratus, Brie Bella, Awesome Kong, Layla Hirsch from ROH, The Blue Meanie, Scotty Too Hottie, and Too Cool, El Snow, Steven Richards, Rob Van Dam, and Mark Henry. Now, all of these legends are not all going to be on TV because a lot of them are special surprises for the Royal Rumble and build up to the Rumble match in Riyadh. Also, WrestleMania Las Vegas, when the big war happens on the stage and spills towards the back and all around the ring, like we mentioned in a previous episode when we first presented this creative storyline concept. So here's how this will work. Chelsea assembles the massive army of WWE talent, past, present, and future. These big drill meetings are held in a army-like indoor training facility or at the PC, but it must look like a militant or special forces type deal for the president. Big posters of Chelsea Green are on the walls, pics of her funny moments and her making the funniest faces, and also there's big posters of her in victory with her WWE Women's Championships. Then there's the drill sergeant. Ivory, or Callie Armstrong, is yelling at the WWE talent as they all stand up in lines facing forward, like in basic training. She's yelling, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get down to business." Then she asks them, "What's your business?" Then they all yell in unison, "Chelsea Green business." She says, "Damn right, you didn't get here by accident. You're not in a dream. You are standing in my training camp, and this is where you are going to learn the meaning of soldier. Understand that in this camp, you do not whisper, you do not leave to go anywhere, you do not think, reach to scratch your ass, or even fart before asking me for permission. Do I make myself clear?" Then they all yell, "Yes, Miss Drill Sergeant." She blows her whistle, and they begin to split up in groups. Then she says, "Earn and burn, soldiers. Let's move." They all begin working in groups, doing different activities, strength training activities, and Alba Fire walks by the door. Alba is looking at them working and training very proudly. She then reports back to Chelsea through the phone. They begin talking as Chelsea wants to see them, and Alba Fire puts her on FaceTime and show her what they're doing and how the training is going. Chelsea is excited, and she tells Alba that she needs to hire an executive assistant to handle her day-to-day activities, and then Alba Fire agrees to post up the job opening for that all-around WWE. Now, I need to fill you in on something here. All of this is happening towards the end of December. If we back up to around the time right after Chelsea lost her WWE Women's United States Championship, Kiana James has been out of action. She was last seen in a match against Mia Yim where she beat her and finally got her revenge for the vicious attack. However, no one has seen her since then. Now, back to this job posting, a few WWE talent from Evolve stepped up and put in applications for the position, and it came down to 2 from Evolved and 1 from NXT. Ariana Grace was recommended by her father. The other 2 were Carly Bright and Constance Dubois. This interview with all 3 women as they're standing side by side, as Alba's looking at their resumes and she's leaning towards Ariana to do the job, but then Constance then pulls out her briefcase and hands Alba a certificate as Alba is impressed, but she still likes Ariana more. Chelsea Green comes walking in and she sees all of the 3 women, and Constance introduces herself to Chelsea as she compliments Chelsea's clothing and hair. Then Alba just looks at her and Chelsea smiles and starts to like Constance. Then Alba says, "I think Ariana is the best for this job." Then Chelsea says, "Really? But I like this other one better." Then she says, "What's your name?" Then Constance says her name, and then she picks up her briefcase and leaves after thanking them for their time. Chelsea Green is sold on hiring Constance Dubois. She says to Alba, "Ooh, she's perfect. She's just the assistant I need." Alba is finally on board and she says, "Yes, I'll make sure to let her know she's got the job." Then Chelsea says, "Great, and tell her to be here next week for her first day on the job." Now, here's what just happened. Constance Dubois is not a WWE talent in Evolve or NXT. This is really Kiana James dressed up in a disguise with her hair and everything looking completely different. This has to really look good, so bring in your Hollywood makeup artists, connections. If you have them on this WWE Creative, you have to make everyone think this is someone else. Even if you have to put more weight on Kiana by having her wear a bodysuit to change her size, just don't give this away. Have Kiana even post on her social media around the same times she's on TV of her home doing things, so fans are completely lost on who this is. Now, you might be wondering, why in the hell would Kiana disguise herself and join this army of Chelseas? Am I right? Good question. Here's the answer. Revenge and power. You remember when Chelsea was disrespecting Kiana James, calling her Miss Kiosk and asking if she wanted some ketchup on her hater tots? Well, you and the whole WWE are about to see how Kiana James' character is and how vindictive and dangerous she could be if you piss her off enough. Now, she heard about the job offer, and she thought to get the job to be closer to Chelsea without her even knowing it. Then she wins Chelsea's trust to the point she thinks she's a better friend than Alba. Then she gets in Chelsea's head and get her to promote her above Alba Fire. Alba is pissed and she never liked her. So Alba then gets in contact with Ariana Grace to try and get her to replace this Constance Dubois. Now Alba and Ariana are working secretly to bring down Constance, but nothing they're doing is working, and Constance is already about to make a major move. Constance then starts some gossip about Nia Jax, and then records WWE talent talking about her and pin it all on WWE current champion Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany is then caught off guard and with an ambush that Nia does to her in the arena one night on SmackDown, then tosses Tiffy off a high spot onto a few tables. Tiffany is carried out in a stretcher and is out indefinitely due to injury and has to go to get surgery. This brings you now to a vacated WWE Undisputed Women's Championship title. This is exactly what Kiana wanted, and her plan is working perfectly. The Secret Service Army has been training, and the war is about to begin. So, in the meantime, while all of this was going on, just have them training and have funny segments of them and the WWE Universe on shows like SmackDown and NXT, marching randomly outside or sometimes interrupting an episode of Evolve and singing the marching songs of soldiers dedicated to Chelsea Green and the Secret Service. These are intended to be funny, but makes the point clear to the entire WWE universe that Chelsea Green is not kidding when it comes to her massive army. Most of the superstars marching are new talent that don't get much or any TV time from that list of WWE talent I mentioned earlier. Also, a few WWE legends are in there, but only like 2, and that includes Ivory if she's the drill sergeant leading the march. Now back to the vacated WWE Undisputed Women's Championship. All of the women in the SmackDown locker room are talking and claiming that they should get a shot at this championship. Nick Aldis made an announcement on WWE social media that every WWE female talent on SmackDown needs to be present to hear his announcement regarding the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship. So we get to the following SmackDown as WWE Saturday Night Main Event is on the horizon once again on January 24th. SmackDown starts with a backstage segment of all the WWE SmackDown females in a backstage conference room, standing around and sitting with referees standing at the front of the room and security awaiting Nick Aldis to enter the room. Nick enters the room and they all get quiet. He says to them, "Good evening, ladies. I just want to thank you all for being here. Now, I've gathered you all here to make an announcement in regards to our WWE Undisputed Women's Championship title here that our former champion, Tiffany Stratton, had to relinquish due to her unfortunate injury recently. I heard all of you over the weeks, and I'm going to give you all a chance to earn an opportunity at winning this title very soon." He continues saying, "We will have a few matches here tonight for some of you to qualify for a chance at becoming WWE Undisputed Women's Champion, which we will crown on January 24th in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, in a ladder match." Then all the women begin talking and chattering in awe that it's going to be a ladder match. Nick Aldis then says, ladies, I know this is very important to you, so let me finish here." Then he says, "Those of you who will have a qualifying match here tonight, I want you to pay close attention to this because I won't say this twice. Once your match is over, I want you to leave this arena. There's too much at stake here, and this is going to be a very intense process. I don't need any more brawls here tonight, and I can't risk another one of you injuring the other. Do I make myself clear?" Then Nia Jax busts through the door saying to everyone, "Yeah, clear that I'm not in this match, and I should be, because I'll beat every single one of these bitches." Then all the WWE females start yelling at her and each other as Nick yells at Jax to get out of the building because she's not supposed to be here because she's still suspended. Nick and security is getting Jax out as she's still talking trash to all the females and laughing as she's being moved out of the room and building. Then SmackDown officially begins, showing some social media posts from former WWE Undisputed Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton, showing everyone that she's getting better and she'll be back soon to repay Jax. And it doesn't matter who wins her title because it's coming back to her for a third time. Now, once you have your qualifying matches on this episode of SmackDown, Chelsea had to have a match to face the number one contender for the WWE Women's United States Championship. But Constance convinced Nick that under her supervision and guidance that Chelsea Green will begin to call off this whole army thing and stop being a problem on different shows. Nick has had his hands full with Chelsea and her army of the Secret Hervis lately. Now, with all the money and time Chelsea invested in this army, once Constance Dubois did this agreement without talking to Chelsea first, Chelsea found out from Alba after Nick told her and the Secret Hervis to leave the building and to hold up to her agreement. Alba asks, "What agreement?" Nick says, "The agreement that was made that I've got on my desk in writing, right here, look," as he hands the folder with the agreement inside. This is the agreement that her executive assistant made on Chelsea and all of your behalf to shut down this ridiculous army charade. Then he walks back in his office and closes the door as Alba is just holding the folder and looking worried and then angry as the soldiers and drill sergeant walking behind them are all looking worried and confused. This message gets back to Chelsea Green, and she's pissed off. Chelsea Green and Alba Fire, holding the folder of the agreement contract in her arm, goes out to the ring in the match she was supposed to be in to become number one contender. After Chelsea gets in the ring, the referee is telling her to get out of the ring, and Chelsea's looking puzzled and talking to the referee, and the referee is saying her and Alba Fire have to get out the ring. Then Nick comes out and says, Chelsea, what are you doing out here? I don't know what stunt you're trying to pull, or you just have some sort of miscommunication with your executive assistant, but she told me that you will not be competing in this match due to some other unfinished business, as how she stated. Her words, not mine, and she signed on my terms of how things will be going forward from here on out. So Chelsea, you can watch the match at commentary, but do not, and I mean do not, interfere with this match. Chelsea is yelling and throwing a tantrum in anger and frustration. Nick then says, and Chelsea, if you do interfere in this match, there will be some serious consequences for your actions, and that includes her and anyone working for you. Now, at this time, the WWE Universe is booing very loudly. Chelsea has an executive assistant that's making decisions on her behalf and not consulting with her about it first. Now, the new WWE female superstar to take her place comes out to the ring as Chelsea and Alba standing outside of the ring in front of the commentary team. Wade Barrett offers both ladies seats and give them headsets as Chelsea Green and Alba Fire sit down, putting on the headsets and joining the commentary of the match. Wade and Joe are asking questions about what's going on in the Secret Hervis. And they also ask Alba, have she seen Constance Dubois today? Chelsea does most of the talking here, and Alba answers the question they asked her. Then Chelsea Green demands for Alba to go backstage and find Constance Dubois because she is so toast. Alba takes off the headset and then salutes Chelsea Green as she smiles, then marches to the back to find Constance Dubois. After the match, Chelsea grabs the microphone and says, "Bravo, thumbs up, Congrats to you, Boo. But you are not and will never be me. Okay? Then she looks at the hard camera and says, Constance Dubois, get your caviar nibbling, champagne bubble sipping, uppity ass out here now. And that's a direct order. Chelsea sees her walking down the aisle with Alba as she looks ashamed and embarrassed. The fans are booing her, and Alba keeps trash-talking to her and pointing forward for her to hurry up to the ring. Then Alba and Constance Dubois enters the ring. Constance stands up straight and she salutes Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green then say, at ease. Constance, where have you been today? No one could find you. I'm hearing that you have made a lot of decisions without my approval that involves my career and me getting back the one thing that belongs to me, my WWE Women's United States Championship. What do you think I hired you for? Constance, I liked you so I chose you for this job position, and I've trusted you so much that I promoted you to not just my executive assistant, but my strong arm woman. We go out to eat together and shop. I let you meet my sister, treat you like family, and this is how you repay me? The WWE Universe is eating this up with the drama. Then Alba stands close and asks Chelsea something in her ear, and Chelsea Green tells her to go ahead as Chelsea's just looking so disappointed. Alba then looks at Chelsea while holding the agreement folder and say, that's not all she did. Miss Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous Wannabe here signed something else as well. Go on, sweetheart. Tell Chelsea what you signed and agreed that will do. Constance is shaking her head no and pleading. Chelsea asks, what did she sign? Then Alba hands Chelsea the agreement and points to it in writing. Chelsea then reads it out loud in shock. Completely disassemble the secret Hervis army? What? Have you lost your mind? Oh no. Then Chelsea picks up her cell phone and acts like she's talking to someone and says, oh, just a sec. Yes. Yeah, I'll tell her. Unemployment said, hi, and that means bye-bye, because I've been waiting to say this to you all night. You are fired. And then Constance grabs the microphone and yells, I got you a title match opportunity. Please don't fire me. I got you this, and this was the only way I could get Nick Aldis to negotiate the contract if we meet some of his demands. Now Chelsea's looking at her like she's confused. Alba is looking confused as well. Then Chelsea says, you got me a what? Constance says, I got you the championship match opportunity you wanted, with a little pulling of some strings and a little bit of sacrifices. Now you've got it. This is where I was and what I've been doing all day. I was calling all my attorney friends in Las Vegas, and it took them a while to get back to me, but I got the right contract agreement to present to Nick Aldis for you. At this point, the WWE Universe is making their voices heard nice and loud. Chelsea looks to the audience for a few seconds as she's looking like she's thinking really hard. Then Alba is talking to Chelsea, trying to convince Chelsea to fire Constance. Chelsea then asks Constance, tell me more about this championship opportunity, and it better be good, because if it's not, that's your ass. And make it quick, damn it. Hurry up. And that's an order. Then Constance is fidgeting nervously as she says, yes, ma'am, of course. So when I presented the contract agreement to Nick, he said that he would get back to me once he looked through it all. He then brought the WWE legal team, and they had some strict demands, and that involved the secret Hervis army. So I said, we can fix that if you position Chelsea once again as champion. He said, she's caused too much trouble for us. No way, not a chance. So I said, well, Mr. Aldous, her army is just going to grow bigger and more powerful, especially if she's not a champion. Then I heard one of the WWE legal team members say, pick one. Then I said, pick one? I don't understand. Then the gentleman started saying something to the others, and then to Mick Aldous, and Nick just closed his eyes and agreed with them. Then the same gentleman said to me again, pick one, a championship for her to challenge for, any championship, whatever she wants to settle this issue of the army. Then Constance says, so I picked one. Then Chelsea stops her saying, whoa, whoa, back up now. You said that they told you to pick one, meaning a WWE championship for me to compete for, and on my behalf as my executive assistant and strong-armed woman of power, you picked which one? Then Constance slowly looks around the crowd as Alba looks at her annoyingly. Constance says slowly, I picked the one you wanted. Then Alba and Chelsea both turn around, and Chelsea drops the microphone as she just stares at her with her mouth open in just dumbfounded shock. It's as if Chelsea Green is thinking, you've got to be freaking kidding me right now. Alba Fire is turned around holding the ropes as she's shaking her head and feeling the same and just displaying her frustration and how much she hates Constance Dubois. Alba then picks up the drop microphone and say to Chelsea, Madam, should I kick her ass now or after you fire her? Then Alba hands Chelsea back the microphone. Then Chelsea Green says, hold a second. I'm here at work in WWE on SmackDown in this city, right, you guys? Then the audience cheers when she says, their city. Just checking, just checking. Then Chelsea looks at Constance and says, because I swear, listening to you tonight feels like I'm home watching a 1990s movie called Rush Hour. Because I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. The audience is laughing. Then Chelsea says, don't just stand there looking at me. What do you have to say for yourself? Then Constance Dubois slowly looks around at the crowd and starts singing really low into the microphone the song called War, the way Jackie Chan did in the Rush Hour movie, saying, War, yeah. What? Is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Good God. You wore. The audience is laughing hysterically. Chelsea Green looks at Alba Fire as they both are trying to figure out what she's saying at first. Then when Chelsea and Alba realizes she's singing that song, like in the scene from the Rush Hour movie, they both get pissed. As they look at each other in the audience, Chelsea says, oh, you think this is some sort of joke? Do you think what you've done to me is funny? She continues telling Constance as she gets closer to her in anger, I'll snap my fingers and have Alba turn your face into your own personal toilet seat cover. You blushy, flushy, huzzy. Oh my God. Let me get a hold of myself. Damn, that's good. You can sell merch with that one for Chelsea. Okay, I gotta get back to work now. Serious story voice tone. Okay. Constance says as she's walking away from the ring, I'm sorry you don't appreciate my work. I thought you would like to get a try at Tiffany's relinquished title. I just picked the one I thought you really wanted. If it was me, I would have wanted to wrestle for that one, but I didn't know your connection with the other one was so strong. I'll get my things and leave. Sorry, Chelsea. Then Chelsea goes on talking over her a little and not hearing all of what Constance said, saying how she didn't hire her to think for her, and then she stops and pauses and looks at the crowd. Constance is walking up the aisle, saddened. Then Chelsea says, what did you say? Then Chelsea looks at Alba and says, "Did she just say Tiffany's relinquished title? You picked the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship to have me compete for it?" Constance then turns around slowly and says, "Well, yeah, what do you guys think? I'm stupid or something?" "Hell yeah, I did. I picked the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship for you to challenge for. And that's going to happen on Saturday night's main event on January 24th in Montreal because you're in that ladder match." The SmackDown audience erupts with cheers, and Chelsea Green and Alba are so shocked and happy as Chelsea is smiling and showing emotions of joy. Chelsea then calls her back in the ring and says, "Girl, come here. Come on back in here." Constance is looking around like she's not sure, but she starts walking back to the ring. Alba still looks pissed at her. She comes back in the ring. Now Chelsea says, "So I'm in the match at Saturday night's main event in Canada for all my family to see." Constance smiles and says, "Yes, ma'am, this will be in front of all your family and friends." Then Chelsea says, "I just wanted my WWE United States Championship back, but I never thought I would be in the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship title picture." Ooh, thank you so much, Constance. Great job. "Alba, isn't Constance great?" Then Alba says, "Yes, madame. This news for you in the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship is great. But what about your army?" Chelsea then turns to Constance and say, "Oh yeah, what the hell are we going to do about this, Constance?" Constance says, "I have a plan, but I can't give out too many details." Then Chelsea says, "Okay, and I would like to publicly apologize. I should have trust your decision making and gave you the benefit of the doubt. You should have talked to me first. I'm the leader and the boss." Constance just smiles as she says, "Do I still have my job?" Chelsea says, "Oh, most definitely." Then Chelsea asks her to sing that song she sang earlier. And together they're singing it on the microphone, and the whole arena is singing too, while Alba is looking at Constance in a very untrustworthy way. End of the segment. So, as you can see, Constance got back her trust, if not even more, with Chelsea Green. Alba just doesn't like her or trusts her. Now, you get all your participants in the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship for our Saturday night main event on January 24th in Canada. This is a big night for Chelsea Green. Now, here's where things shift. Constance has been busy again with keeping the secret Hervis, a few new members to join. Well, since she's a higher rank now than Alba, Constance brings in some bad apples in the army like Jasper Troy, Harlem Lewis, Josh Briggs, and a few more to plant some seeds of chaos within the Chelsea Green army. Then she told them that Nick Aldis needs to see that they can play the game too. So she told them, no matter what, don't show up to help Chelsea Green in her match for the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship on Saturday night's main event. But then she told a few of them that she's going to need their help with something else, but don't tell the others. On this night, Constance has her master plan in action, and on this night, it's all going to come together for her perfectly. Nick made it clear to her on the following week via social media that Alba or anyone from Chelsea's group can interfere to assist her to winning this match. If she does, she has to forfeit the championship to the last WWE female superstar who came the closest to winning in the match. This really is a very important detail. Kiana had this in the agreement as well to ensure Nick that there will be no shenanigans or trickery in this match on Chelsea's command, and Mick doesn't have to worry at all about Chelsea Green or the Secret Service Army. This was why Nick couldn't pass up this agreement. Constance stayed backstage for mostly the entire match as Alba was out there supporting, and in the match there was a few superstars double teaming and even triple teaming Chelsea Green, and the WWE Universe was just getting upset at this. Two superstars in particular in every one of those group attacks were Lash Legend and Julia. You could change who these two superstars could be, WWE Creative, but just make sure it's not a top talent like Jade or Bianca Belair or someone on the main event level. So Chelsea and a few others came close to successfully climbing that ladder and pulling down the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship title hanging above the ring. It looked like manager Nick Aldis and his WWE legal team was going to get exactly what Constance guaranteed them on Chelsea's behalf. However, mid-match, two superstars came running out through the audience and grabbed Alba Fyre wearing black suits and white dress shirts, black ties, and black sunglasses, dressed similar to her as Secret Service agents, but it was one male and one female, as the male had Alba arms locked behind her back, and the female had both of Alba's legs as she was kicking and yelling. And Chelsea didn't see this, but throughout the match, Alba was there being very vocal and supportive that kept Chelsea motivated and fighting harder. Chelsea's family is ringside and her sister is there. Once Alba was taken out from ringside, Chelsea shortly after was looking for Alba Fyre and couldn't find her as she stared at the empty ringside spot she stood in. She then looked to her family and asked, as she stood in the ring, and yells, "Where's Alba? Where is she?" Her sister and family points towards the crowd, trying to tell her, but Chelsea's caught with a German suplex from Jade Cargill, reminding her this isn't the time or place to socialize. Then, towards the end of the match, Chelsea Green is getting double team attacked once all other female superstars have crashed and burned and are out. One of these three women has a shot at winning this WWE Undisputed Championship, because this is the moment for someone to take advantage of the opportunity while all the other women are down and out. As they gang up on Chelsea and the crowd is booing, out comes Constance holding 3 wine glasses and a bottle of champagne in another hand as she storms to the ring completely pissed off. She's talking under her breath like she's about to do something to these women to help Chelsea Green. Julia sees Constance once she gets near the ring, and she kicks her in the stomach. Constance drops the wine glasses, but she still is holding on to the bottle as she's slumped over near Chelsea's family. Then Julia gets back in the ring to help Lash Legend beat on Chelsea, as Lash is directing her to hit Chelsea more, as Lash holds Chelsea's arms behind her back like Alba Fyre earlier, so Julia can punch and kick Chelsea in the ring facing the commentary area side of the ropes. Constance then slowly straightens up and gathers herself, holding her stomach in pain, and looks over to Chelsea's sister and family and holds the bottle in her hand and looks at it. Then looks at the audience as they cheer her on to hit Julia in the back, as Lash is outside the ring looking for a weapon under the ring to put Chelsea away so one of them can win. Constance slowly gets in the ring, very sneakily. She's shaking in fear and holding the bottle, slowly raising it up in the air to strike Julia. And Chelsea is slightly holding herself up, leaning at the perfectly open positioned ladder in the center of the ring under the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship, hanging above the ring. Julia has Chelsea grabbed by the face and is talking trash to her, yelling in Japanese. As Lash is outside looking under the ring for a weapon, she happens to look up at the right moment to yell and point to Julia to turn around as Constance swings the bottle to Julia's head. Julia immediately ducks down and rolls out of the way to avoid the attack, and Chelsea Green gets smashed in the head with the champagne bottle while leaning on the ladder from Constance. Everyone is shocked, including Constance. She's so scared and looking at Chelsea and trying to check on her by gently slapping her in the face to wake up Chelsea, as Julia and Lash are just stunned looking. Lash comes back in the ring with a steel chair, looking at Constance as she backs into the turnbuckle corner while Chelsea is laying there on the ring mat near the ladder. This is when both Lash and Julia are cornering Constance, and then Lash throws down the chair and her and Julia hold out their hands in unison like to receive something owed. Constance reaches in her bra and hands them both 2 envelopes of cash as they both part a pathway for Constance to go up the ladder or to help Chelsea win the match. What will she do? The audience is so curious right here. Constance walks slowly to a bloody Chelsea Green. Then she makes the audience think she's helping her by pulling her up the ladder, just to randomly look at her and then kick her in the face as Chelsea falls to the mat. Then comes the great reveal of who Constance Dubois really is. Both Lash and Julia are guarding the ladder as Constance started climbing. Charlotte, Bianca, and even Jade tried to get back in the ring, only to catch a steel chair shot from Lash or a kick in the face from Julia. This made sure no one else will get this title. As Constance was just touching the belt to remove it, Chelsea pulled up strength to grab her foot, looking up in desperate anger as Constance yelled to Lash and Julia to get Chelsea. Lash then grabbed Chelsea and punched her in the face. Constance then pulls down the title as she laughs. She then climbs down the ladder, and both Lash and Julia leave the ring, counting their cash as they gave each other a high five and walked to the back. Mick Aldis then comes out pissed off with his officials and orders the bell to ring. And right before he could enter the ring, Constance grabs Chelsea and prop her up in a bottom turnbuckle for her to see her. Then Constance Dubois slowly puts down the belt and slowly removes her wig and began peeling off her face disguise and cutting off her bodysuit to reveal herself to everyone, including Chelsea Green. It was Kiana James all along. Chelsea is slowly coming to, looking shocked and hurt, while Nick Aldis shocked also in his facial expressions of disgust and anger. Kiana James grabs the title and pushes it in Chelsea's face, slaps her and calls her the stupid bitch, saying, "Now salute me." As Nick Aldis enters the ring to confront Kiana James, she quickly rolls out of the ring with the championship title near Chelsea's family ringside. She's holding out the belt and arguing with Nick, saying, "I've outsmarted you all. You can't take this away from me." Kiana continues outside the ring talking trash about Chelsea Green and pointing at her as she's still out of it, as WWE doctors and WWE officials are checking on her and all the other superstars getting up. Then Kiana James turns and holds up the title and flips off Chelsea Green's sister and her family and start laughing and mumbles the word bitch as she looks at Chelsea Green one last time while walking back as she passes the front post and turnbuckle of the ring. She's walking out with the belt as other superstars are looking at her, and some are pointing at her like, how the hell did she get this title? Nick Aldis is furious. And you can just see how pissed he is by his facial expressions as he stares at Kiana James. Nick then apologizes to Chelsea's sister and family for Kiana James' behavior, and he's going to fix this and assure them that Chelsea is going to be okay. Chelsea Green has helped to walk over to her family because Zack Ryder, her husband, came out to help her stand, and he's looking very worried for his wife, Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is selling the pain and betrayal so well. It's incredible. And everyone is feeling like this is the Montreal Screwjob, but this time it's by a female named Kiana James against Chelsea Green. This has to really create the evil villain character of Kiana James. She has to look like the evil, vindictive, stoop to low levels to outsmart you type of bitch that everyone loved to hate. She needs to really strike a nerve to the WWE universe this night and really piss off Chelsea Green's family to almost the place of emotion. WWE Creative, your job is to show both Kiana and Chelsea the psychology and the art of how to get us to that place. So now that Kiana James' master plan has worked perfectly, she heads into SmackDown the following night in grand fashion. She shows up in a limousine as the same two WWE superstars who took Alba Fire from ringside. Both get out the car and open the door for her as Kiana James steps out looking stunning like the first woman president and a WWE pendant on her blazer coat with the American flag and her K and J logo with her bag and the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship. She walks to the ring as they guard her, as both of them are wearing exactly what they had on when they took Alba Fire. She gets to the ring with her agents, and she's met with boos from the crowd. She gets the microphone, drops this promo. "I don't give a damn about none of you." The crowd starts chanting for Chelsea Green. And I really don't give a damn about her either, but we'll get to her in just a little bit. Let's first address the fact that my face on the WWE website doesn't have WWE Undisputed Women's Champion next to it. Kiana James continues speaking in the ring, saying, "Let's go through this carefully for all you peons here and the idiot content creators online who don't really know a damn thing about WWE, but can't wait to open their mouths and post something for views before getting their facts straight." The match had several female WWE superstars all competing for this title. Alba Fire, that little heifer, was removed from ringside, so she wasn't involved to mess anything up anymore for me. Then the WWE's Karen, all of your beloved so-called Madam Leader in this generation, was getting her Canadian ass beat by two WWE female superstars. So let me rephrase that, Constance Dubois showed up to save your girl in her time of distress. She then laughs, then continues saying, "She looked so pathetic. Then everything else that happened next was all a part of my master plan from the door. I climbed that ladder and took what belonged to me from the first time I stepped into the WWE Performance Center and busted my ass on NXT, with every legend backstage telling me that I'm going to take this business and put it in my purse and pose for the cameras to flash on any stage. And as long as I have this, all of you so-called called up talent who made it to the main roster and are complaining about the management not giving you a chance, crying and walking around feeling sorry for yourselves, all need to go back and watch Saturday night's main event this past weekend. Watch and learn. My hustle can't be touched, and my mind is just too damn quick. I wasn't at the table and couldn't get an invitation, but look at me now. Winner takes all. No, no, baby. Kiana James takes every damn thing. Then Nick Aldis comes out, and he says, Kiana James, there you are. You know I speak for myself and the entire WWE universe when I say you're a slimy, conniving. Then Kiana interrupts him. What? What am I, Nick? You keep talking like that to me, and I'll have WWE fire your ass and send you back to the Indies to repeat Cody's playbook. Try me, Nick Aldis, and you'll certainly find out today. Nick says, I was going to say, thief. What did you think I was going to call you, Kiana? I call it like I see it, and we all know that you are a thief. You stole that WWE Undisputed Women's Championship from all the women in that match, minus Lash Legend and Julia, who you paid to do your dirty work so you could pull off your little shenanigans to climb up the ladder in a penguin suit and acting like the Joker. Well, guess what, Constant Doo-Doo or Kiana James? I really don't care who you call yourself, but around here on SmackDown, I'm the general manager, and that means I'm the law. I got the power to send you back to your house watching this show from the sidelines. So, if you really want to talk big, make sure you can step out the stroller first when you roll up to Nick Aldis. The crowd is laughing and cheering. Nick then fixes his tie as Kiana is looking at Nick Aldis like she wants to slap him. Mick then says, I'm giving you till the end of the night to return that property that belongs to the WWE, which is that WWE Undisputed Women's Championship, or you, miss, are going to have it taken away from you by force. That doesn't belong to you, Kiana, and I want it back tonight. Kiana James then goes into her purse and pulls out her cell phone and calls someone. She starts talking to them on her phone. Nick is looking around, and then Kiana says, they're on the way now. Nick says, they who? She says, you and all these peons are about to see why you don't piss off Kiana James. The two men in business attire come out with briefcases as one of them hand Nick Aldis a stack of papers and the other hands him a folder and a pen. Nick takes the papers as he says to them, what is this? Then Kiana says, these are some good friends of mine that I always keep on standby when I'm dealing with people I don't trust and have to do business with such people. I never trusted you, Nick, so I had them show up here to remind you what you've signed. Then one of them came to the ring and the other stood next to Nick. The attorney in the ring stood proudly by Kiana James as he and Kiana looked at some of the paperwork, and the other attorney showed Nick the document and was pointing out something to him. Nick started looking like he was getting upset. He argues with the attorney saying, yes, I see that. I'm not blind. I see that. I know what I signed. Then Nick is looking upset and pacing around. Then Kiana says, everyone look at this guy up there. Just look how I got him pacing back and forth up there. She laughs. Then she says, Donovan, please read to everyone what Gregory up there informed Mr. Nick Aldis. Donovan says, certainly, Miss James. In the contract agreement of Mrs. Constance Dubois, representing for WWE Superstar, aka WWE talent Chelsea Green, competing in the ladder match for the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship. Whereas it has been agreed that no members such as Miss Alba Fire and all Army soldiers or agents of the group of Miss Chelsea Green are prohibited from interfering in the ladder match for the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship title on Saturday night's main event on January 24th in Montreal. Section D. Whereas if this match has any outside interference by any one of Miss Chelsea Green's group in any way or form to affect the outcome of this match, whereas Miss Chelsea Green, if successfully in any way by her or any one of her group members, removes the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship to taint the pure outcome of this match, will then be stripped and forced to forfeit the victory of the closest WWE superstar, aka WWE talent, that was the last closest to successfully attempting to retrieving the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship, end quote. Then Kiana James says, "In other words, I played all of you. I wrote the rules to the agreement and broke them and still came out top female in WWE. It's no longer Tiffany Stratton or Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, or even the woo Charlotte Flair, and it damn sure isn't your loser commander leader, Chelsea Green. No, it's me. It always was me, Kiana James. I'm your new WWE Undisputed Women's Champion." As she points to the audience, and she says to Nick Aldis, "Nick, Chelsea Green gave me her trust because she was drunk off of her own power and control. So I got in right where I needed to be for her to trust me just enough to double cross her and take everything." Then she looks at those in the ring with her, and they're nodding in agreement with her and smirking. She continues saying, "Chelsea actually believed that she was good enough to win this WWE Undisputed Women's Championship, and she can't even hold on to the WWE Women's United States Championship. This broad is dizzy, thinking she can even hang with the likes of a Charlotte Flair, let alone a Kiana James. Please be for real." And Nick, you were so pissed off at Chelsea and her Secret Hervis army that was growing each week that you gave off a little bit of desperation to kill the whole thing. So what did I do for you? I went and I killed it by running the play my way. Operation Chelsea Green worked. At this time, the crowd is booing Kiana James, and Nick Aldis is looking at her, and now he's looking at the contract agreement. He looks at her and says, "Congratulations, Kiana James. You did, in fact, pulled off some really fine print, tricky wording here, and you are indeed next-level genius with this plan. But since you're so good at loopholes, I doubt you're going to get out of this one. I'm looking at this agreement, and it's saying the last WWE superstar that was the closest to retrieving that title, if someone from Chelsea Green's group interfered for her to get the win. But you see this, what we saw wasn't for Chelsea to successfully win this match. This was a damn setup for her to absolutely lose this match. So that's one loophole I see that I have, and there's one more. Oh yeah, I remember. That Miss Constant Doodoo character of yours." Then Nick Aldis and everyone laughs and chant, "Constant Doodoo." Then Nick continues saying, "And what did you call them?" "Oh yeah, those idiot content creators that don't know a damn thing about WWE." Well, any of them that were saying that Constance Dubois isn't even a WWE superstar, and she was the one technically who retrieved that WWE Undisputed Women's Championship before you dismembered her in the ring after you climbed down that ladder. Then I say, they do indeed know about WWE and the rules. So technically, Constant Doodoo played Kiana James for a fufu, and she is champion and not you. Then he laughs again. Kiana is pissed and pacing. Kiana James is upset as she's pacing back and forth in the ring, holding the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship title. Then Nick Aldis says, "Oh, now look who's pacing back and forth up there." And rightfully so, because it's time for the Kiana James show to come to an end. It happens right now. Nick says, "Security." Then the attorneys are now together talking in the ring with Kiana James and her bodyguard agents. Kiana then starts smiling and says, No, Nick Aldis, You don't have full grounds in this agreement to do this because even though I was in a disguise, it doesn't change the fact that I was the only WWE superstar and talent to be the last one closest to retrieving this, and I am under contract. You can't do this, Nick. I'll have you in so much litigation that the suit you're wearing right now is going to need a lawyer to keep me away. I won this, and I'm the champion. Just admit it. You all lost. And Nick says, I had a feeling you were going to say that next, and that's why I have something for that as well. Production truck crew, get me the footage of the end of the ladder match from Saturday. Then they put the picture of Chelsea holding on to Constance Dubois' foot as she's on the ladder. Nick says, as you can see, this was Chelsea's last attempt to win. She was contract signed for this match. However, she wasn't the last one who came the closest to winning it. Then he says to the production crew, rewind and put up the image of the last woman that, by the way, was contract signed to be in that match and came closest to winning it right before Kiana James pulled her little title heist. Then they put up a picture of Charlotte Flair on the ladder touching the championship before she was knocked down off the ladder. The WWE Universe is cheering and wooing for Charlotte Flair. Then Nick Aldis says to Kiana James, I don't want to deal with the lawsuit that I know I and the WWE will eventually win, but the WWE and Triple H hired me as SmackDown general manager for several reasons. One of those reasons are for my on-the-feet thinking to handle issues and keep things in order here. I admire your ambition to be the WWE Undisputed Women's Champion, because look what levels you'll stoop to just to call yourself champion. But the way you went about it disgustes me. You have all the fire missing, paid WWE superstars, and somehow convinced them to not wrestle for the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship, only to do your dirty work. You've injured Chelsea Green, and then disrespected her family ringside after you stole the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship and ruined the main event for everyone. Nick then says, oh, and let's not forget your penguin suit and disguise. The crowd start chanting constant doo-doo again. Nick starts to chuckle. Then he says, don't worry, I won't say it, but they'll say it for me. Mick continues saying, so that title still is not yours. It's vacated once again. Kiana James, you want to carry around that WWE Undisputed Women's Championship that you stole and pretend to yourself and everyone else that you're the champion? Well, this will put a final end to your little game. I will have, in the next 10 minutes or so, my WWE legal team type up me a fresh, ironclad contract. You want to be the champion? Well, you've got to earn it by really competing for it just like everyone else. No more of your little shortcuts to the top. In the main event tonight here on SmackDown, you're going to compete for that title in a steel cage to make sure there's no one else getting involved. Your group is banned from ringside, and if you find a way to cheat, you forfeit, making your opponent the winner and the WWE Undisputed Women's Champion. And don't worry, Kiana, this WWE contract is going to be so ironclad that you or none of your little slithering snake attorneys can create loopholes to slide through to cheat your way to victory this time. We will crown a new WWE Undisputed Women's Champion in this city on SmackDown tonight. Oh, and one last thing. Your opponent for that title that you'll have the pleasure of being locked in a steel cage with tonight is this woman. Charlotte Flair's music hits as the fans go wild. Charlotte Flair comes out as Nick Aldis, walks past her and looks at her smiling. Charlotte Flair nods to Nick Aldis like she said to him, "Good choice." Charlotte then looks at Kiana in the ring and points to that championship she's holding, and then does her turnaround as the pyro goes off, and on the LED screen it has a graphic of the two in the main event in a steel cage for the WWE Undisputed Women's Championship tonight on SmackDown. Kiana James' eyes stretch wide like she just saw a ghost as she's hugging very tight to that WWE Undisputed Women's Championship belt and looking terrified like she knows time's almost up of her 5 minutes of fame. So the match happens, and it's a banger of a match, but as Charlotte Flair had Kiana James beat and laying out cold, Charlotte went to the steel cage door after asking for it to be opened by the referee, only to have an arm come from under the ring and slam the door on her head, busting Charlotte open as she laid there. Kiana James slowly starts to go to the door and changes her mind. Then she starts to climb up and over the steel cage and makes it to the floor as the bell rings. Nick Aldis comes out looking upset. He starts yelling at Kiana James, and the Kabuki Warriors comes from under the ring where the steel cage door was and began double teaming Charlotte Flair in the ring. Nick Aldis is looking at both Kiana and the attack happening in the ring, and he looks like he wants to say more to Kiana as she stares at him. She's also looking at the attack on Charlotte. Kiana looks at Nick as she's holding her body in pain of the battle she just had with Charlotte in the cage. Her eyes tell the story of what just happened, and Nick can see it, and everyone else can see it as well. As both of them are standing outside the steel cage looking at the assault on Charlotte, Alexa Bliss comes running to the ring and pushes Kiana out of her way, heading to the ring to save Charlotte. Alexa then pulls out a weapon from under the ring to defend Charlotte, as Charlotte's beaten and bloody in the ring. The Warriors see her and then start climbing the cage quickly, then begin laughing as they get high up on the steel cage and away from Alexa Bliss. Kiana James then says what we all can see, and Nick Aldis sees also. She looks at him in pain, saying, "I had nothing to do with this. I swear, I have nothing to do with any of that." Then the referee hands Kiana James the title, raises her hand, and points to her, declaring her the winner of this match and as the new WWE Undisputed Women's Champion. Then Kiana's music hits. She walks backwards towards the entrance as she's in pain, while Nick Aldis is just looking at her, and then he heads to the ring to check on Charlotte and run away the Kabuki Warriors. Kiana slowly lifts up the championship belt in the air as celebration pyro is exploding for her, and the LED Tron screen says, "And new WWE Undisputed Women's Champion, Kiana James." So to finally begin to wrap this episode up, I want to first touch on a few topics before we end this today. The first thing is getting you, WWE Creative, from Jade Cargill being champion on this run that was too soon and boring because she doesn't have really any competition other than Bianca Belair or Tiffany Stratton right now, And feuding with Chelsea Green is not the way to do this, because Jade will destroy her, and Chelsea Green is not ready for that challenge right now. In the future, yes, but at the moment, her character is not fit to look tough enough or have the power backing her defeat Jade for that WWE Undisputed Women's Championship or any match. Putting the title back on Tiffany for a very short time is the way to go right now. Then having the world be introduced to the evil genius that is Kiana James to outsmart everyone to the top, especially outsmarting her enemy Chelsea Green for making Kiana look like she's never going to be championship worthy, pissing her off. This sets up the Royal Rumble for the revenge of Chelsea Green and her power to win the Rumble by the Secret Service army going into full war mode for her. But who's in the army that's also in the Rumble match with Chelsea? Mysterious, and the perfect situation for her to win it. The next topic I want to address before we end this is the art of creating the army of Chelsea Green. I mentioned that they were training and randomly marching around backstage on random shows. And I mentioned legends being a part of this army, and they will play a part of the Royal Rumble, which comes into play the week of, right before it, on SmackDown, which happens to be the same night earlier before Kiana James and Charlotte Flair have their cage match for the WWE Undisputed Championship. This war backstage of Chelsea Green's army fighting and breaking down backstage, where you have them in chaos fighting each other because of the few bad apples that I mentioned that Kiana James brought in to cause problems between them. It was genius of her to do this, and since Kiana has her own agents of a male and female, then that means Chelsea needs to get her male agent and her female agent to help protect her until she rescues Alba Fire and get her back. The legends that joined, like I mentioned, will be backstage fighting and wearing the Secret Her Vest t-shirts because they want that $1 million prize. And Chelsea put out another social media message from the hospital of a beatdown hit on Kiana James and anyone who will help her to keep Kiana James from becoming champion will get the money. This is why everyone is fighting and not on the same page, so it explodes in all-out war in the backstage area. But understand that the Kabuki Warriors didn't come to SmackDown and did that attack on Charlotte Flair, costing her that women's championship win for Kiana James. No, that was a receipt to Charlotte and Alexa for their own tag team issues with those two teams going on. However you want to do that drama, WWE Creative Department, you can put that all together how you like, of why they ruined Charlotte's match there, and no one saw it coming. Not even Kiana James or Nick Aldis saw that one coming. And the last topic is creating the masterpiece of villain Kiana James and her evil plans. To do something like this, you'll need that careful touch of art. Think of everything that could give it away that this is Kiana James in disguise. This needs next level thinking with her costume, clothing, her Hollywood-like face and skin, showing of her ankles and hands and wrists exposing from time to time. By doing this, you throw the fans off completely. Make them not even see the connection and actually think it's real or Piper Niven. Also, Kiana might get too hot wearing that bodysuit to disguise her body, so you must think about her overheating in that too. So make it all work so she can really act. Also, Kiana has to have very good voice acting and body movements. That's not hers at all times. Even the way this Constance Dubois character walks and stands up. Top level acting and selling from everyone will make it awesome. You can do this. Now you have some solutions to the current problems and some material to work with WWE Creative Department. I really hope you use this. We'll make a short episode adding on to the army and funny segments shortly after this one to get to you before it's too late. So look out for that. Also, to our viewers, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to us here at Step Your Game Up, the #1 place for you to get the very best WWE and pro wrestling storylines, critiques, and ideas designed only to help WWE Creative Department to make watching WWE shows and PLEs better for us all. Like this video and share it, and comment if you've got some really great ideas to add with today's episode. Thanks everyone, and look for our Karrion Kross video coming soon, either this week or next week. Just got word live here that it might get moved to next week. Either way, it's coming for you all soon. We're S.Y.G.U. Bye for now.